The Book of Numbers. It's the fourth book of the Bible, and honestly it's not what most people expect. Despite its name, Numbers is way more than a list of statistics and censuses. It's a wild, emotional, and sometimes frustrating story about a journey that should have taken 2 weeks, but ended up taking 40 years. It's about rebellion, leadership, promises, and a God who remains faithful even when his people don't. Let's unpack the Book of Numbers. The book opens with Israel camped at Mount Sinai. God has already rescued them from Egypt, given them the law, and instructed them to build the tabernacle. Now he's preparing them to enter the promised land. To do that, he commands Moses to take a census, hence the name Numbers. It's not just for counting people. It's about organizing Israel by tribes, assigning military roles, and showing that this is a real, functioning nation, not just a wandering group of ex-slaves. Chapters 1 through 10 focus on preparation. The people are arranged around the tabernacle in a structured way. The Levites are set apart to carry out priestly duties. There's a sense of purpose, order, momentum. God leads the way by a visible cloud over the tabernacle. When it lifts, they move. When it stays, they stay. They're on the move toward the land God promised to Abraham centuries earlier, but things unravel quickly. By chapter 11, the people begin complaining about food, about Moses, about everything. They long for the good old days in Egypt, even though it was a place of slavery. In Numbers 12, even Moses' own brother and sister Ann and Miriam challenge his leadership. God defends Moses, but the cracks in Israel's unity are growing. Then comes the turning point. Chapter 13. Moses sends 12 spies to scout out the promised land. They return with reports of its beauty and its giants. 10 of the spies panic. Only Joshua and Caleb believe God will give them victory. The people side with the majority. They rebel and say, "Let's go back to Egypt." God responds by sentencing that entire generation, everyone over age 22, die in the wilderness. The promised land will have to wait. What should have taken weeks becomes 4 decades of wandering. The middle of Numbers is filled with stories of rebellion and judgment. Korah's uprising, constant complaints, and even Moses, in frustration, disobeying God by striking a rock instead of speaking to it. Because of that, even Moses is told he won't enter the promised land. It's a sad, humbling moment. Leadership is hard, and even the best leaders fall short. But Numbers isn't just judgment, it's also full of grace. Despite their failures, God continues to provide food, water, protection, and guidance. He doesn't abandon his people. He disciplines them, but he doesn't cancel his promise. One of the most surprising stories comes in chapters 22 to 24. A pagan prophet named Balaam is hired by a king to curse Israel. But every time Balaam tries, God takes control of his mouth and he ends up blessing Israel instead. Even a donkey speaks to him. It's a clear message. No one, not kings, not sorcerers, can stop God's plan. By the end of the book, that first generation has passed away. A new generation is camped east of the promised land, near the Jordan River. A new census is taken. Joshua is commissioned as Moses' successor. They're ready to enter the land, but not without one final reminder. Obedience matters. God's promises are sure, but so are the consequences of disobedience. So, what do we learn from the book of Numbers? First, God is patient, but he's also just. He won't ignore rebellion forever. Second, leadership is both a gift and a burden. Moses shows incredible faith, but even he isn't perfect. Third, faith and fear don't mix. Israel saw miracles but still doubted, and it cost them dearly. And fourth, God keeps moving forward. Even when people mess up, his promise stands. Numbers is a mirror. It shows us how quickly faith can turn to fear, how easy it is to grumble instead of trust. But it also shows that even in the wilderness, especially in the wilderness, God is present, faithful, and leading his people forward. Thanks for watching. This was book 4 of 66 in our Bible overview series. If you found this helpful, give it a like, share with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one when we explore the book of Deuteronomy. See you next time.